Right before life shifts into a season of breakthroughs, most people encounter something curious. The atmosphere goes strangely still, almost as if nothing is moving. It feels quiet, paused, even a little uncomfortable. Then, almost without warning, everything changes. Momentum builds, blessings layer on top of each other, and opportunities arrive all at once. That stillness you've been worried about? It isn't a void. It's the loading screen before the next level unlocks. And today, I want to show you why that pause is proof that unseen forces are preparing the stage for you, and why what's coming is far greater than anything you've experienced before. Think about how unsettling quiet stretches of life can feel. You know the moments when the phone barely buzzes, when work slows down, or when doors that used to open suddenly go silent. To the human mind, silence feels suspicious, almost like failure. But what if that calm space isn't an absence at all? What if it's the very womb where transformation takes root? We mistake stillness for being stuck, but often it's the very ground where alignment is happening behind the curtain. In those quiet days, invisible pieces are moving, pathways are rearranging, and what looks like nothing on the outside is actually preparation for acceleration. Think of job seekers who send out resume after resume, hearing silence for weeks. No callbacks, no interviews, nothing but frustration. Then, out of nowhere, 2 or 3 offers show up within days of each other. What felt like dead air wasn't wasted time. It was the unseen process. Applications being reviewed, approvals happening in boardrooms, managers syncing schedules, until suddenly everything landed at once. The stillness wasn't a stall. It was the build-up before breakthrough. Life often works like a video game. You sit staring at a loading screen, watching the circle spin or the bar crawl forward, wondering why nothing is happening. On the surface, the screen is static, but beneath, files are unpacking, levels are forming, data is syncing. The system doesn't demand frantic activity while this happens. It simply prepares in silence. Then suddenly the screen shifts, the music starts, and you're in a new world, ready to play. Waiting seasons mirror that. Stillness doesn't mean absence. It means construction. Here's the secret. The pause creates space. If life constantly rushed forward without a breath, there would be no room for the right things to align. Imagine a cluttered shelf. You can't place anything new until you clear space. Quiet seasons are that shelf clearing. They strip away noise, slow the pace, and reset the system. It might look like nothing fits together, but later you'll see it was all synchronizing. Picture someone moving to a new city. At first, it's lonely, disorienting, quiet in the harshest way. They doubt their choice. But then a single connection appears. Maybe a colleague, maybe a stranger at a cafe. That one link introduces 2 more, and before long, they've built an entire community. Those early quiet months weren't wasted. They were the soil being tilled so the right seeds could sprout. What felt like a void was actually the groundwork for belonging. We confuse stillness with loss, but quiet is more like a snowball waiting at the top of a hill. At first, it looks insignificant, sitting idle, but give it time and motion, and once it rolls, nothing can stop the momentum it gathers. The hill wasn't wasted. It was the place where power was stored, piece by piece, before release. So the stillness you're in, it isn't punishment, it isn't delay, it's preparation. It's life aligning pieces you can't yet see, clearing distractions, resetting energy, and usually, quiet comes right before speed. Calm is the signal that acceleration is on deck. But that leads us to the deeper mystery. Why do miracles so often show up after the hardest struggles? Why does life seem to ask for surrender before it offers breakthrough? The truth is, when everything is smooth, we hold on tight. We cling to control, trying to orchestrate every outcome. But struggles corner us. They force us to release the grip. Think about it. When you've exhausted every option, slammed into every closed door, you reach a strange kind of surrender. And right there, right when you release control, doors you never could have forced open begin to swing wide. Take relationships. Someone believes they've finally discovered the one, the person they pictured building a future with. They pour their energy, time, and heart into that connection, only to watch it collapse. The heartbreak convinces them that they've ruined their only chance at lasting love. that nothing this good will ever come again. Nights feel heavier, and even the smallest reminders sting. Yet, as the days turn into weeks, and the weeks into months, something unexpected happens. Someone new steps in, quietly at first, almost by accident, but this new connection understands them in ways they didn't even realize they needed. The conversations flow differently. The sense of safety feels deeper, and slowly they recognize the truth. This person never could have entered while they were clinging to the old. The loss wasn't rejection. It was the clearing of space so alignment could finally step in. Or consider metal. In its raw form, it looks solid, but it's fragile under pressure, easy to bend or break. To become truly durable, it has to pass through fire, heated until it glows, melted down, reshaped with force. In the middle of the process, it looks destroyed, stripped of form and strength. But in reality, that very heat, that very pressure, is what transforms it into something far stronger than it ever was before. Hardship works exactly the same way. The fire you feel in life, the disappointments, the failures, the challenges, isn't there to consume you. It's there to forge you. What feels like destruction is often refinement. The struggle is the furnace where your resilience, your character, and your strength are tempered into something unbreakable. Now picture someone losing a job they thought they'd never live without. Their identity was tied to it, their stability depended on it, and when it's gone, it feels like the ground beneath them has disappeared. At first, the shock is overwhelming. They feel betrayed, lost, unsure how to move forward. But slowly, something begins to shift. Freed from the demands of that old structure, they start exploring interests they had buried for years. Maybe they pick up an old skill, launch a small project, or finally chase the dream they always told themselves was too risky. That single event, the one that felt like devastation, becomes the very turning point that unlocks their true path. The so-called worst day becomes the doorway into a version of themselves they never would have discovered otherwise. This is pruning. Just as a gardener trims branches, not out of cruelty, but out of care, life trims us through difficulty. At first, the tree looks wounded, its branches cut back, its leaves removed. To an untrained eye, it might even look worse than before. But that cutting is intentional. It clears away the parts that are draining energy, that are no longer serving growth. It directs life into the healthiest parts, allowing the tree to thrive stronger than ever. In the same way, struggle cuts away what no longer feeds us, even if we were attached to it. Old habits, outdated beliefs, unhealthy attachments, they fall away. And once they do, new energy flows into the spaces that matter most. Renewal is born out of what first looked like loss. So challenges are not evidence that miracles are impossible. In fact, they are often the exact doorway to them. The obstacles you face don't arrive to block your path. They arrive to redirect it, to strip away the unnecessary, and to expand you into readiness. They push you out of the illusion of control and into openness. They force you to shift from clinging tightly to what you thought had to be, into receiving what is meant for you. And in that opening, alignment has room to arrive. And then comes the quiet but pressing question: how do you actually recognize when you're standing right on the edge of a breakthrough? How do you know the moment isn't just another setback, but the threshold of transformation? Most people expect miracles to arrive like fireworks, loud, impossible to ignore, grand in their announcement. But in reality, life speaks more softly. The signs rarely look dramatic. They show up in whispers and nudges, in quiet repetitions that most of us brush off as coincidence. That's why so many people overlook them. They wait for the sky to split open, not realizing the clues are already around them, subtle and steady. Imagine someone who dreams of a stranger, vivid and strange, night after night. The dream feels unusually real. Weeks later, they bump into that exact person by chance, in a place they never expected. The details match: the look, the tone, the presence. Most would laugh it off as random. But isn't it curious how often these so-called coincidences appear right before life takes a major turn? Dreams, repeating numbers, recurring themes, all of these are not random noise. They are the early tremors of alignment, signals that what you've been asking for is already on its way, Waiting seasons feel unbearable because silence looks like absence. When nothing seems to move, fear whispers that nothing ever will. But once you recognize the signals, silence transforms. It's no longer emptiness. It's coded communication. It's the quiet language of life arranging itself around you, hinting that you are being positioned for something bigger than you realize. Think of tuning a radio. When you're just slightly off frequency, you hear only static, broken bits of sound that don't make sense. But turn the dial ever so slightly, and suddenly the music comes through clear, like it was always there waiting for you. Life's alignment works the same way. The opportunities, the guidance, the clarity, it's all around you already. You just have to fine-tune your awareness to catch it. As your inner world quiets, when you let go of stress, when you stop forcing, when you release the noise, your senses sharpen. Intuition becomes louder. Coincidences multiply. You walk into a room and instinctively know who to speak to. A conversation drops the exact phrase you needed to hear. You stumble across a book, a video, or a message at precisely the right moment. None of it is random. Each piece is alignment showing itself, proof that your steps are being guided. Numbers repeat on clocks and receipts. Certain words echo back to you from unexpected places. The same themes appear in different conversations. These repetitions are not meaningless. They are confirmations. They're reminders that your energy is attracting what you've been preparing for, pulling it closer and closer into your reality. Like gravity, alignment doesn't chase. It draws in. So if you've been noticing these repeating patterns, if clarity has been arriving in sudden flashes, if you felt an unusual calm settle over you despite the uncertainty, don't ignore it. That isn't emptiness. It isn't coincidence. It's movement. It's the quiet proof that your breakthrough has already started unfolding. And here's the most powerful part. The fact that you are hearing this message right now is itself a signal. Out of all the voices, out of all the videos, out of all the moments, you landed here. That isn't random. That is alignment choosing this moment to remind you. It means your miracle season isn't a distant hope. It isn't waiting somewhere far away. It has already begun. This moment isn't just encouragement. It's confirmation. It's evidence that the next chapter of your life is already in motion. So instead of sinking into doubt, lean into trust. Notice the signs. Listen to the whispers. Pay attention to the nudges you've been brushing aside. You don't have to chase your breakthrough. You don't have to force it. By standing aligned, aware, and open, you attract it naturally. Miracles aren't somewhere on the horizon. They're already unfolding, step by step, quietly shaping themselves through you. And this moment, right here, right now, is proof. It's the confirmation you've been waiting for.